Alright, today marks 2 months since I moved to Phoenix. There were some highs and lows, and there are some things I could have done better, but you know what? It beats the time that I was in Seattle. I have to constantly remind myself that. There's so many things that definitely would not have played out well, not to mention the weather over here. So one of the first places I visited when I got back to Phoenix was obviously the Desert Botanical Garden. I've been looking forward to that for ever since I left Phoenix last year. I spent 3 months here during the quarantine. And when I got to the Desert Botanical Garden 2 months ago, it was like I never left it. It was like I was only here last week. I still remembered the layout. I still remembered some of the staff members there, and it was like nothing had changed, and it really was like my time in Seattle completely disappeared. I had been home in Seattle for over a year, and that whole year just evaporated as soon as I went to the Desert Botanical Garden. It was one of the best feelings in the world. I had a boss back in Seattle who was very prejudiced against homosexuals. I had made quite a few enemies in Seattle. I got into a significant disagreement where I got assaulted when I was in Seattle, and all of that just completely evaporated when I came back to Phoenix. I'll have to rethink about my lease here ends in 2 weeks, and I'll have to think about if I can relocate somewhere where the garden is going to be along my commute, or somewhere where I can frequent it more often than I am right now. That's going to definitely improve my quality of life. Right now, I find I have a hard time bringing myself to go there just because of the fluidity of how it goes, where it is, and I have some pretty rough schedules as it is. The other big part of my life is I'm getting involved in an art show. As you guys see, I've been doing a lot of bismuth art, and this I only recently figured out how to get the color like this. Unfortunately, my graphite mold for the pyramid is nearing the end of its life, and I can't seem to find a replacement, so I'll have to be a little bit more careful of using it now. And but that's all right. That's all right. I'll find other things to make. And been very busy at the art show. I'm hoping to order 1,000 pounds of bismuth metal during Black Friday. I've been coordinating others to buy a lot of bismuth as well. I hope to cause a big market event, just like the GameStop. I'm not even wanting to get rich anymore. I just want people to understand bismuth and have a fun time making art. Everybody's thinking about what am I going to do when I get rich? That's the first question people ask when I talk about Hunt Brothering bismuth. But that's not even the main attraction. In fact, I would hate to see bismuth permanently at $500 an ounce, $300 an ounce, because I won't be able to do this anymore. Who's going to want to spend $10,000 on bismuth art, right? Not that many people, at least. I mean, the demographics of who I would make art to would change a lot for at the very least. I don't think I would be in business anymore doing it. I'd much rather be doing art than just kicking back and being rich, right? Although it would definitely free up a lot of other things that I'll talk about in this video. So coming to Phoenix, I had, as you guys remember, I had quit masturbating for 2.5 months before I got here. Unfortunately, the environment of Phoenix has not been very conducive of continuing that no-fap for some reason. I full-blown relapsed, unfortunately. That's why I haven't been talking about it very much. I want to talk about the first time that the first relapse incident when I got here. I had been cramming a lot at my work because it was only the first week of my job at a tutoring center here, and I was hoping to network with the right people. One of my colleagues works at a community college, and I was really hoping to network with her and see if I can get a position there. And I was working very long hours. I got training courses and too many students, and also I was busy cramming for the art show. My first art show was only a few weeks into arriving here in Phoenix, and I have been cramming too many nights in a row doing this and then going to the tutoring center. And then I think it was a Saturday morning, I finally took some time to take care of myself. I went for a long distance walk, and so I was at a different apartment at the time, and I actually walked to the where was that? Alongside the mountain preserves, and then I came home to take a shower, and I finally felt a good sense of romance, and I did, you know what? And I was so disappointed at myself because I had gone 60-some days, and part of the reason I started when I love to start NoFap journeys on important people's birthdays or events that I used to fantasize a lot about, right? So when I was a kid, one of my favorite people to fantasize about when I masturbated was Polish Idol Season 1 winner Elisa Genasi, and her birthday was on June 4th, and I had already stopped masturbating for a number of days before that, so I started one journey on June, in the beginning of June, but then I relapsed, and the reason I had relapsed was because a friend of mine was recovering from COVID-19, and she had a really bad case, and for a while we thought she had long COVID. I think she has since recovered, but as I was thinking about her, I masturbated. I'm not even normally sexually attracted to her. Now looking back at it, it was the stupidest thing in the world. But I relapsed after, I think it was 3 weeks or so because of her. And another figures that I used to fantasize about was Mary Curie. And she made her big discovery on June 18th of 1898. So for the 124th anniversary of her, I decided to give NoFap another try. And that time I went 69 days, and then I got to Phoenix, and I just had a really good day, and I relapsed. I tend to relapse when I have really good or really bad days. I'll get to the bad days in a moment. We had a lunar eclipse on November 8th, and I had wanted to take the next day off of work because the eclipse was from 1 a.m. to about 7 a.m., and I normally go to work at 1 p.m., and I wanted to show up at maybe 4 or later. And I told my boss about this weeks ahead of time. I mean, technically he didn't have to give it to me because I'm on the probationary period, but you know what? A lot of my colleagues are quitting their jobs, and I thought I had some strength to tell him. And when I told him about 3-4 weeks in advance, because, you know, I really love all my students, and I can't leave them hanging, he told me, oh, this is so early, I don't know the schedule. Well, I'm thinking, I'm telling you what my schedule is. Why don't we block it out? I think I made the mistake, when I later on told some of my friends about this, I made the mistake of making it negotiable. Oh, I just want to be here late because I'm staying up. It should have been I'm not available. But I have a hard time putting my foot down because I really love my work. And in general, I love to be negotiable. Part of the reason why I had such a hard time getting vacation time off at my last job was that I was wishy-washy. When is the best time to take a vacation? And my boss just kept delaying that, right? And in his mind, maybe next month is better than this month. 2 months from now is better than next month. And before you know it, all my bismuth has turned into thallium, and I still haven't gotten to go on vacation yet. That's usually how it operates. I'm just too malleable with how I choose my vacation time. Anyway, bismuth is radioactive with a really long half-life. That's the joke I was talking. Well, I bet all my bismuth is going to become thallium before my boss thinks it's a great time to go on a vacation. Anyways, or it could become the stuff that Mary Curie invented, right? Polonium, right? Depending on the mode of decay. But, so long story short, my boss thought it was a great idea for me to show up because he had a VIP client of some sort, and he said, "Just do your best," you know. He said, I don't know. I've been wanting to take, you know, I'm also not exactly thrilled that I've been working 6-day weeks since coming here, but earlier last week I was trying to negotiate this, and then I went there on a Saturday, and I really love the students there. I can't take off on them, and same thing with all the students I have during the week. I'll have to think about this. You know, in an ideal world, I could go to work and be off at the same time, right? You know, I don't know. If I could have it my way, the students would come with me to the Desert Botanical Garden, and I would tutor them there, right? That's kind of what happened during quarantine, right? Unfortunately, that would be the ideal world. Or they could go with me to Gdansk Bay, Poland. I'll continue to tutor. Hey, next week, let's meet at the beach in Gdansk. I'll continue to tutor. That would be the ideal situation, right? That way I don't have to miss the students. I don't have to miss Gdansk Bay. And the other goal that I've kind of relapsed on, although I have turned it around, is my eating disordered ways. I used to have a big binge eating problem, which I seriously corrected during the pandemic. Unfortunately, since moving here to Phoenix, I haven't done so great because my scheduling has kind of gotten in the way. See, I love to only eat when I'm hungry. The problem is that when I have a big block of work that might be 7-9 hours, and I'm not hungry before then, please leave a comment on what you would do. You have a big block of work that's 7-9 hours long, and you can't really take time off to eat during that time, and you're not hungry before the shift, but you have to eat anyway. What do? If there's anybody who is a nutritionist or anything, what I've done is decided to bend the rules a little bit and allow myself to eat in front of the clients, even if it looks bad, because the alternative is to go back to binge eating ways, which causes their own set of problems. And to my surprise, nobody has complained about it. At first, I remember mentally calculating which students would probably be the best ones to lose, and to only eat during those students. But when those students started to love me better, I decided I don't even have to do that anymore. But so I've turned that around. Unfortunately, the masturbating has been a whole different story. I think part of the reason I haven't been so successful with controlling the masturbating is that I can't talk about it, right? I was talking to one of my colleagues about my challenges with eating scheduling because of the work, and she and I brainstormed a lot of things. She didn't think it was a big deal that I was breaking the rules, and she gave me even more wisdom about it. I wish I could openly talk about my struggles with NoFap. I bet I could do a whole lot better, right? It kind of serves as a reminder of why drugs should be legal, because we want people to openly be able to get help, right? Anyways, 2 months here, and I hope to continue to advocate for myself, and I'll give NoFap another try, or I shouldn't say another try. I'm already NoFapping. I'll give the continuation of NoFap serious of consideration. Today marks, I think, 3 days since I last did it, and I hope to order 1,000 or 2,000 pounds of bismuth during the shopping season. Depending on, I'll have to see how well I do at the next art show, and I hope to organize another bismuth buying event, not because I want to get rich, but because I want to have a network of people to share my art with.